The ceiling above you could cave in tomorrow, or never. Most of the damage has already happened inside your head. Seneca said, "There are more things likely to frighten us than there are to crush us. We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." The hallway seems longer in the dark. We lie awake replaying the day's mistakes or stretching our fears thin until they cover next week, next year, a whole invisible future. Seneca saw it with clinical clarity. Fear is a multiplier. The real hardship, when it comes, often lands softer than the dread that preceded it. Most of your exhaustion comes not from what happened, but from living it a dozen times before it arrives. Anxious about the meeting, the bill, the diagnosis that hasn't come, you pay the price twice, or 100 times. What if imagination is the heavier load? You start to understand, letting go of control isn't giving up, it's trading torment for perspective. The tightness in your chest, the worst-case scenario you can't shut off. Most days, these hurt more than reality. Yet you keep rehearsing them. Every fearful thought adds another brick to a wall that blocks no real danger, only your own hope. Stoics aren't asking you to ignore risk. They're simply telling you you're haunted more by your mind's stories than by fate itself. Epictetus said, "It is not things that disturb us, but our judgments about things." Death, for example, is nothing terrible, else Socrates too would have thought so, but the judgment that death is terrible, this is what is terrible. So when we are impeded or disturbed or distressed, let us never blame others but rather ourselves, that is, our own judgments. You lose your footing at the edge of some unknown, waiting for a callback, watching your savings shrink, seeing the door close. The disturbance isn't the event, it's the interpretation. A phone call ends, they didn't laugh at your joke. Your project gets shelved, the night grows heavier. It isn't the situation, it's the story you assign it. Epictetus, once a slave, taught that people could take nearly everything from you. Your freedom, your body, your home, but not the last piece, your judgment about what it means. He said, "Why fear death if Socrates, sentenced and calm, did not? What else do we make monstrous by our judgment? Failure, loneliness, change? The idea that none of these are inherently crushing feels like oxygen when you're suffocating on anxiety." Practicing this is more than a thought experiment. It's a slow rewiring. When you feel your stomach tighten or your breath shorten, catch the moment you label the event as disaster. Ask, what else could this mean? Try, just for today, to notice the instant of judgment before the story starts. Sometimes that crack is enough for light to slip through. Seneca said, "It is not because things are difficult that we do not dare. It is because we do not dare that things are difficult." An unopened email, a conversation you keep deferring, a dream on the shelf. We imagine obstacles standing tall in our path, but half their size comes from the shadow our reluctance casts. The Stoics argue, most things grow impossible in retreat and shrink with approach. Difficulty is a story that gathers mass when you look away. Sometimes refusing to pick up the phone, to start the thing, to ask for help makes the task monstrous. Seneca's insight offers a cold comfort. Daring first makes difficulties smaller. The courage to begin does half the work. This flips the script of anxiety. Instead of asking, "What will happen if I try?" Try asking, "What will happen if I keep running?" Start the uncomfortable thing. Gap shrinks, fear fragments. Most difficulty is momentum delayed. Seneca said, "You act like mortals in all that you fear, and like immortals in all that you desire." Scrolling news at midnight, eyes fixed on a future not promised, wanting endless chances but dreading a single consequence. What changes if you see yourself honestly as mortal in both? The next breath might be all you own. Maybe what should shape your day is less what you fear and more what you would choose if you had just this moment. Catch yourself in that contradiction. You are not immortal in your dreams, not invulnerable in your worries. You are human, here, now. Epictetus said, "It is not things themselves that disturb men, but their judgments about these things. For example, death is nothing terrible, for if it were, it would have seemed so to Socrates. Rather, the opinion that death is terrible, that is the terrible thing." Repetition sharpens the lesson. Once wasn't enough for Epictetus. Over and again, he returns to judgment as the real tyrant, not circumstance, not fate. Look at the evidence. Those who have faced real hardship with peace, from Socrates facing execution to the unnamed millions who have accepted loss, prove it's not events, but our judgment of them that breaks us. To practice Stoicism is not to erase grief or discomfort. It's to meet reality cleanly, without the poison of catastrophic thinking. Catch yourself Ask again and again, is this the thing, or is this my story about the thing? Seneca said, nothing happens to the wise man against his expectation. It is not that all things happen as he wished, but that he calculated that something could stand in the way of his plans. A wise person isn't surprised by difficulty. They map every path, including detours and dead ends, not with cynicism, but quiet realism. When trouble comes, the wise are not betrayed. They are ready. The world owes you something only if you refuse to see it as it is. Practice. Every morning, when making plans, whisper, and if not this, then something else. Welcome contingency. Own your reaction. Seneca said, whatever can happen at any time can happen today. The phone rings at 2 a.m. A job disappears. Someone leaves for the last time. Seneca's voice is not cold, but clear. Anything that has ever happened to anyone could happen to you, now, without warning. Your illusion of control is soothing, but false. Life is a lottery, not a script. So how to live? By facing reality uncloaked. Today is not different from any other day in vulnerability, in uncertainty, in gift. Let this sharpen your presence, not paralyze it. Cherish what you hold. Call the friend. Make peace with what you cannot command. Control is the mirage we chase until the edges burn away. Look closely at your life, the struggles with anxiety, the plans built on sand, the relationships strained by expectations. There is a gentler way to carry uncertainty. The Stoics hand you these words across 2,000 years, not as dogma, but as survival tools. You aren't obligated to like fate, but fighting its rawness only multiplies pain. Surrender isn't defeat, it's movement, a turning toward what is, not away. You suffer in imagination more than in reality. Letting go of control is not resignation, it is the reclaiming of your mind, one judgment at a time. If this stayed with you, there are more stories like it waiting. Stay curious, stay open,